Hey guys, DBR24 Venom here. As you see, this is my PC account, DBR24 GTX, for Destiny 2 beta currently. And I just gotta say that, man, this game is so different than on console. I played through all my 3 characters already through the first main mission, and I've played already the strike here that's available. And I played some competitive multiplayer, and whoa, it's smooth. So I wanted to show you guys on this first video just a little bit about what like the settings are for PC. For example, the controls, I dropped it down to 8 and it was normally at 16, I believe. I'm using mouse and keyboard, of course. I tried out the controller. I bumped up the sensitivity to 10. It's pretty smooth too, but man, when you just try out the mouse and keyboard on PC, it's so different. But yeah, so let's go into, for example, the key mapping. I have a mouse where I have side buttons. So on the melee, you're gonna want to like bind it to another part of your mouse if that's something you have on your mouse, of course. And my grenade is available also right here on my mouse. So I'll click that on my mouse. Those are the key bindings. And then sound, I dropped down my game volume to 2 just so that I could have better experience with the chat. Gameplay, so reticle, of course, PC default, helmet always on. You're gonna have these options. You have the option to display your frames per second here, which would be right here on the corner. And other than that, you have, of course, accessibility for example, people that are blind or the color blindness. You have all those settings here. And let's get to the video settings. So right now, I'm playing on my 1440p 165Hz monitor. I played it on my 4K HDR screen, but I think a drawback on the 4K HDR is that there's some latency, and also the 60 FPS would be the highest that I could go. And I just prefer going a lower resolution but a higher frame rate. I know Destiny 2 goes at 30 FPS on console, and whoa, when you go over 100 frames per second on this game, it's just fantastic. So my field of view, I like to have it around 95. I had it a little bit higher, but when you do your supers, it's a little bit tougher to like focus on what's in front of you. I like it at 95, that's fine. VSync is off because my monitor is a G-Sync monitor, so I have G-Sync enabled. The reason I'm playing also windowed full screen is so that I can have a better colors, because I already adjusted my colors on my NVIDIA control panel. So if I play on full screen, it's just gonna enable my normal monitor settings. So I don't want that. Screen bounds, everything's all set. So what I'm running right now is pretty much the highest they could go. Except anti-aliasing, I dropped it down to FXAA, because the other ones like MSAA, which you have here, SMAA and MSAA, they really tax your system. I think FXAA is fine at this resolution. You could bump it up more at 1080p. And screen space, ambient occlusion, I have it at 3-dimensional. You have the option for HDAO or 3D. I have it at 3D, and it drops performance a little bit, but it's just worth it for the quality that you're getting. Anyways, so I was saying that, so in texture and isotropy, you could have it at 16x, but I like to have it at 8x, just because my frames do drop a little bit more when I have it at 16. But you could go ahead and max it all out. I know my video RAM usage, it says I'm only using like a little bit of it, but and this should just use more VRAM, but for some reason I just get a few more drops, but I'll leave it. That's why I like to have it at 8x. Everything else is pretty much at the highest it goes. Now shadow quality, which one is it? No, foliage shadows distance. This one can go higher at the highest, but whenever you go into a like the strike, for example, and there's some foliage, that really drops your frame rate a lot. And I don't think you really need any higher than high, honestly. For you don't really notice the quality unless you're focusing at the very far distances. Motion blur, I turn it off. I just don't like motion blur, of course, because my FPS is just gonna take care of that. But texture quality is at the highest. Everything's the highest. Now these, for example, depth of field, it kind of blurs it out a bit too much, so I like to leave it at high. And these other ones are just maxed out at high, so you can't go higher than that. As you could see, only the foliage shadow distance, as I was talking about. Life shafts is high. Wind impulse, I honestly don't know what this one does, but I have it on, of course. And here you can see that you have the option for HDR. So I have it at off since I'm running just on my 1440p high refresh rate monitor. But of course, if you have your TV, you could enjoy your HDR with Nvidia, or if AMD supports it. I'm not sure if AMD supports it, honestly, but I'm running with a GTX 1070 right now. Render resolution just 100. I like to just keep it at 1440. Chromatic aberration, I have it at on. Film grain, I leave it at on because it's good to have this one at on. It's not as noticeable as other games because it prevents like the color banding that you would get in, for example, between light and dark areas. So I was messing around with this, leaving it on and off, and I prefer to have it on. It's not really obtrusive or anything. Those are pretty much your video settings for the game. And your characters, there, as you can see, you have the kinetic weapons and your energy weapons and your power weapons. So that's very different from Destiny 1. But honestly, after playing it now here on the PC for a while now, it's oh wow, it works pretty well now. Especially now that there's a lot more ammo drops. And now your snipers, it can't be your secondary, so you have to sacrifice whether you want a sniper or a rocket launcher, which I know sounds kind of not good, but it works fine as long since you get more ammo drops and everything. So I'm happy with that. And I gotta be honest, I mean, I think I preferred the way Destiny 1 had it, but I believe that this kind of fixes the problem for like PvP, for example. But I think that overall, this is a huge step up from console. Huge step up. Like, I can't even explain how different it is. You have to feel it. Whether you like playing with a mouse and keyboard or controller, PC is definitely the best place to try this game out. I know this game's gonna be on PS4 Pro and Xbox One X at their 4K resolutions, but the 30 FPS, that's the drawback. That's the big drawback. 30 FPS will just like, oh man, it's just not that great until you like try something like this out. It's insane. And this pretty much just sums up what I wanted to show you guys here, and I'll have some gameplay on later on. Some more beta gameplay on PC. And of course, you'll only be able to watch 60 FPS on YouTube, but trust me, when you see this in person, it's ooh man, I don't think you could go back. Now, a small advantage on console, especially on PlayStation 4, is that you have some exclusive content. Now I know it's timed, but that content is still quite a lot if you think about it, because you get a strike and then some weapons and some other content, some PvP map, I think, exclusive map or something. But I don't think that's still enough for me to move on to the PS4 version, honestly, because after trying this one out, it's just like I said, hard to go back. But anyways, guys, I'll be submitting a new video, some gameplay to show you guys how it plays on PC, and I'll see you guys next time. This is DBR24 Venom out, or on my YouTube, of course, but here I'm 24 GTX. Anyways, guys, see you later.